Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about Suboxone, like normal, and I'm going to take a different approach. As you all know, I'm a huge advocate for Suboxone, but that doesn't mean it's all rainbows and butterflies. There are times when it's hard, when it sucks, when it feels almost impossible to stay in the program. And I want to acknowledge those things. I think it's important to talk about the cons because they do exist, and it'll give you a better idea as to what to expect if you were to start treatment or if a loved one starts treatment, and hopefully it increases my credibility because I think there are so many people out there that will only give you one side of the story, especially with Suboxone, because there's either like a big fight for it or against it, but you need to hear all of this. So I'm out of breath. So before I continue, I want you to know that I'm doing live streams every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would think it would be awesome if you could come join me. It's mostly just me hanging out, shooting the shit, and it would be cool if you come say hi. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Turn on the little bell notification so you know when I post videos, because I've been doing it a lot lately, and I still don't have an upload schedule, so you kind of need those notifications to know when I post. Also, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this stuff. And let's get into this video. Okay, so these cons are based on my subjective experience. They're based on my experience only, and probably Greg's. He's probably influenced my opinion. But you may experience more or less of these symptoms or cons, not even symptoms. You may experience more or less of any of this. If that's the case, please leave a comment down below. I would really like to hear what your differences are. And also, I think it's important to acknowledge that I think the pros greatly outweigh all of these cons. That is going to be something that you have to decide personally. I can't decide that for you, but in my opinion, I think the pros outweigh the cons. I made a little list so that I don't forget anything. So I have 10 cons about Suboxone. Number 1. I can't read my list. Number 1, finding a provider. It's hard to find a provider sometimes, especially if you live in a rural area, because they are few and far between. The DEA put a stipulation on the number of patients that each doctor can see, and they're low. They're not, I don't understand why they limit the number of patients, because it's not like they're handing out pain pills here, but that's another story. So sometimes it's hard to find a doctor in your area. And this goes on to number 2. Sometimes it's hard to find a doctor that you can afford. Sometimes number 2 is the cost. So it's hard to find a doctor that, one, accepts insurance in office, because most, in my case, have not. And I've had to pay anywhere from $100 to $250 an appointment. And that's a lot of money, especially if insurance isn't covering any of it. So the cost of the provider or your appointment is expensive alone. And then if your insurance doesn't cover that medication, I did the math before, and I think it was $20 a day for 16 milligrams. I can't remember if I think it was for 16 milligrams. Regardless, it's freaking expensive. They do have generics now, so that's great, but it still costs a lot of money, and it's a constant expense. You can't stop taking it. So this is like number 3. You have a physical dependence to it, so you cannot stop taking this quickly or abruptly at all. You need to taper off of it slowly. So that means if you're at a high dose, you can't just say like, oh, I'm going to get off of this in a month. Like, no, you are physically dependent to this, and you will experience withdrawal symptoms. You will not experience cravings for Suboxone or anything crazy like that, but you will experience similar effects as if you were dope sick. And what your brain is doing, you're physically dependent on Suboxone, but you're addicted to opiates, and it's you have to acknowledge it. You will feel like shit if you stop taking it abruptly. And that means you have to constantly go to see the doctor. So number 4, constantly taking off work to go to these appointments. I am lucky and only have to go once a month, but that still sucks. My doctor's only open on Wednesdays, and only from like 8 to 4, which is when I'm at work. It's like, come on, like, make evening appointments. Do weekends. Do other weekdays than just Wednesdays. Wednesdays is actually a day I take my son to occupational therapy. So I have to take off the entire day for 2 appointments. It's stupid and I hate it, but I'm lucky because some people have to go weekly. Number 5, constipation. I have not had a good poo in a long time. TMI, I don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, if I get sick and have like a viral infection, then I'll have a normal poo. Where anyone else would have like diarrhea and be awful, I'm just normal. So it is what it is. Your girl can't poop. Number 6, decreased libido. Your sex drive is definitely affected by Suboxone. It doesn't go away, but it's just like your little lady bits or little bipper or whatever gets a little bit more numb. That'd be the way to explain it. I think that it might cause erectile dysfunction, but I don't really know. I haven't experienced that I'm not a boy, but Greg hasn't experienced that. So yeah, and more TMI. Sorry guys. Number 6, that was 6. Number 7, flat affect. I see this a lot in my videos. My emotions, feeling them and expressing them, are just dulled down a little bit. Now, this is all emotions, so happiness, anxiety, sadness, anger, cheerfulness, like all of that. It's just kind of a little bit less. And when you get off of Suboxone, you have this huge spike in emotional reactivity, and it's crazy. And I don't think that it's, I mean, I'm not going over the pros, I'm just doing the cons, so I'll talk about that later. You do have less emotional reactivity. And number 8, the taste. Like, they make the taste so disgusting on purpose. Like, they want it to be able to, you have to be able to dissolve it under your tongue, but they don't want it to be something that you enjoy. And trust me, I do not enjoy that nasty orange taste. There is another option, I think Subsolve, that is minty, but I'm sure that's no better. Number 9, the duration of treatment. I kind of touched on this earlier, but because you're physically dependent, you will be on this for a long time. And studies show that the longer you're on it, the more effective it is, or the less likely you are to relapse. So for me, for a long time, I didn't want to be on this. I didn't want to take medication every day, and I was pissed, and I was trying to get off of it, and I was rushing the process. And I've come to peace with the fact that I'm on Suboxone and will be on Suboxone for a while. It's not something I care about anymore. But for a lot of people, they don't want to take a pill every day. They don't want to take a medicine every day. And I can understand that. And number 10, the constant battle with the doctors, pharmacy, and insurance company. Because those three never get along. They never understand each other. My doctor literally writes my prescription wrong every month. Every month! They write buprenorphine 8 milligrams. It's supposed to be 8 milligrams / 2 milligrams because there's naloxone in it, but they don't include that. So then the pharmacy has to fill it in, and then the insurance company flags it because it's not right. I'm not supposed to get Subutex, and it doesn't say Subutex, it says Suboxone, and then they have to call the doctor's office, and the doctor has to okay another prescription. Like, bitch, just fucking fix it. You do this every month. If you can't tell, this part gets me heated. And I guess, you know what, I'm going to throw in a number 11 here. The lack of control or authority in your own treatment plan. I did not believe this was a con beforehand, but I do now. I think that the doctors do not understand that they are literally playing with your livelihood by altering your dose. And unless you are on the same page, it's really difficult to go. It's just hard. I'm scared to go back to my doctor because I don't feel safe in their care. They decreased my dosage, or they wouldn't increase it when I needed it, and now I feel like, I don't know, I just don't trust them, and I'm scared. I'm scared that maybe one day they're just going to be like, no, you're going down 2 milligrams now. And I don't want to do that. They've already pushed me down 2 milligrams once, and I didn't like it, and I tried to go back up, and that was not okay. So, you know what? There's another one. 12. The requirement for therapy. Now, this is like, I think that this is a pro, but this is also a con for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to do therapy. They don't want to do group therapy, maybe. Then some places require group and individual. Some places require just individual. Some places require it but don't ever freaking check up on it, which is crazy to me because literally Matt is medicine and psychotherapy. It's medication-assisted treatment. The treatment is the psychotherapy. But also, the therapy, you have to maybe go to an extra provider. That's more cost that you're incurring. Or maybe it's more appointments that you have to go to, more work you have to miss. There are lots of things that you need to consider when starting Suboxone. Now, like I said, I think the pros greatly outweigh these cons, and that is my personal opinion. If you would like me to do a pros of Suboxone video, I will gladly do it. I feel like it's kind of already on my channel why I like Suboxone so much, but I'm always open to video suggestions. So that's all I have for today, guys. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to see me Thursdays at 7 p.m. for my live streams, and I'll see you later. Bye!